What's the weirdest way someone has ever pretended to be in charge? This happened when I was working at a big retail store during college. We had this new guy named Tyler who started in electronics. Seemed normal enough at first, just your average 20-something trying to make rent money. But Tyler had this weird obsession with being seen as important. He wasn't a manager, wasn't even a senior associate, just a regular part-timer like the rest of us. But somehow he convinced himself that he was basically running the whole electronics department. It started small. Tyler would volunteer for everything. Need someone to stay late? Tyler's your guy. Need someone to train new hires? Tyler would jump in before the actual supervisors could respond. At first, everyone thought he was just being helpful. Then things got weird. Tyler started carrying around this clipboard everywhere he went. Not for any real reason, just random papers he'd printed out from the computer. Inventory lists from 6 months ago, old employee schedules, sometimes just blank sheets of paper. He'd walk around the store with this clipboard like he was conducting some kind of important audit. Customers started asking him questions because he looked official. And here's where it gets crazy. Tyler would answer them with complete confidence even when he had absolutely no idea what he was talking about. A customer asked about warranty coverage on a laptop. Tyler, who'd been working there for 3 weeks, launched into this detailed explanation about extended protection plans that didn't even exist at our store. He was making up policies on the spot, but he said it with such authority that the customer believed every word. Our actual manager, Lisa, started getting complaints from customers about information Tyler was giving them. Stuff like telling people we offered free installation on car stereos when we definitely didn't, or promising price matches on items we couldn't match. But Tyler's masterpiece was the clipboard incident. One Saturday afternoon, corporate sent some district managers to our store for a surprise inspection. These were serious people in suits who could fire anyone on the spot. Tyler saw them walk in and immediately went into overdrive. He grabbed his trusty clipboard and started following them around the store. Not in an obvious way, but always staying within earshot, nodding along when they talked, occasionally jotting down notes on his random papers. The district managers noticed this guy with a clipboard who seemed to know what was going on, so they started asking him questions. And Tyler just rolled with it. How's inventory management in electronics? They asked. Tyler flipped through his meaningless papers and said, well, based on our current metrics, we're tracking about 15% above projected quarterly turnover, with some fluctuation in the gaming peripheral sector. Complete nonsense, but he said it with such confidence that they wrote it down. What about staff performance in this department? Tyler adjusted his collar and said, I've been monitoring productivity levels closely, and I think we could benefit from some additional training modules, particularly in customer engagement protocols. The district managers were eating this up. They thought they'd found some kind of management prodigy who was really on top of things. Meanwhile, Lisa was watching this whole thing from across the store, completely horrified. She couldn't interrupt because these were her bosses, but she knew Tyler was just making everything up. The best part was when one of the district managers asked Tyler about shrinkage rates. Tyler didn't even know what shrinkage meant in retail terms, but he didn't miss a beat. Shrinkage has been a concern, obviously, but we've implemented some new loss prevention strategies that should show results in the next quarter. What strategies? There were no strategies. Tyler had been working there for a month and spent most of his shifts playing games on the display phones. But it worked. The district managers were so impressed with Tyler's initiative and leadership potential that they mentioned him specifically to Lisa as someone to consider for future promotions. Lisa had to sit in her office after they left, just staring at the wall, trying to process what had just happened. Tyler had somehow convinced corporate executives that he was management material by walking around with a clipboard full of random papers and speaking confidently about things he'd completely made up. The really crazy part? It almost worked permanently. 2 weeks later, Tyler got called into Lisa's office. She'd received an email from district suggesting that Tyler might be ready for a supervisor role at another location. They wanted to fast-track him based on his impressive grasp of retail operations. That's when Lisa finally had to explain to her bosses that Tyler was a part-time associate who'd been with the company for 5 weeks and had never actually managed anything. The whole clipboard routine was just an elaborate act. Tyler got fired the next day, not for pretending to be management, but because corporate realized he'd been giving customers completely false information for over a month. But for those 2 magical weeks, Tyler had convinced everyone from district managers to regular customers that he was some kind of retail genius, all because he carried a clipboard and talked with confidence about made-up statistics. The guy literally created his own authority out of thin air using office supplies and corporate buzzwords. I still think about Tyler sometimes when I see people in meetings talking confidently about things they clearly don't understand. Makes me wonder how many other Tylers are out there just clipboarding their way to success. The weirdest part is that it almost worked. If he hadn't been giving customers bad information, Tyler probably would have gotten that promotion based purely on his ability to sound important while holding random papers.